Well, guten Tag, thespians.
Oh, God. I have to be a thespian?
You can be whatever you want.
That's what acting is. You can be whatever you want.
Thank goodness.
That's it.
Yeah.
We're all just playing pretend. I'm Jen Ponton.
I'm Lillian Bustle. Who am I? Lillian Button today? Sure. Who am I this time? Why not?
That's so great. And today we have with us the absolute delight, Celey Schumer.
Hooray.
Yay! Da-na-da-da-na.
Hello.
Da-na-da-da-na. Hi, Celey. I'm gonna plug you a little bit.
Okay.
So Celey is a multi-hyphenate. Celey is an actor, writer, and comedian, bi-coastal bitch, and based in Los Angeles at this point. She's currently developing a queer rom-com feature film, as well as a TV series centered on a women's college ice hockey team.
Yeah, I don't know anything about field hockey.
Only skates. Most recently on stage, Celey opened for Michelle Wolf in Burlington, Vermont, her stomping grounds. And on screen, you can see her on Comedy Central, the Travel Channel, and in various commercials she's worked for, including Snickers, Aflac, and Yoplait, because we have reached yogurt lady status.
Oh my gosh. I gotta rewrite this. Like, what?
I love it. Celey, you can also see on the SeekaTV show Extraordinary, opposite the BBC's Will Turner Roden and Broadway's Tiffany Mann. She's also a series regular on the upcoming digital series Followers. Celey's voice can be heard on the popular nostalgic movie review podcast, one of my personal favorites, Still Got It, which she hosts and produces, and she is repped by The Cartel. What's up, you fancy bitch?
Hi. Wow. Had I known you were reading it in its entirety, I would have made it shorter.
I love it. I love it. I love just fucking hanging a grogger around my head at this point.
This honestly reminds me. Go ahead, Lily.
Oh, I've wondered if we should warn people about that, but it's so entertaining to watch people's faces when they see we're reading the whole thing that I'd rather not.
Yeah, no, I don't think you should. That's my fault, and I have to sit and listen to that. This honestly just reminds me I need to, like, it's been like 2 years since I have 2 cents. Like, most recently I did stand up here. It's like, God, that was a minute ago. Like, okay.
That's okay. Everything was
years.
a minute ago, right?
Yeah,
I mean, like, if we were actually to do that's a good sketch. That's a good sketch right there.
Real
updated resumes of what we've actually been doing for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Not for nothing. That's pretty great.
I can tell you right now that the TV show, the hockey show is still real, and the rom-com is like plugging along. We've just, I don't know if I can talk about this yet. I believe we have attached a director, and I cannot say more.
Yes.
But I'm very excited.
Can you give us the log line of your film?
Oh my God, have I written a log line for it? Yes, I have one somewhere.
Elevator pitch?
Yeah, well, the elevator pitch is it's a little bit of a Queer When Harry Met Sally. So there's the girl in high school who is like in all the plays, is like very femme, very closeted, and very in love with like the one visibly out like drummer girl at her high school. They have like a moment after graduation at this thing called Project Graduation. They see each other again 5 years later. They see each other again 10 years later. And then the movie sort of like takes place from 10 years onward. Our like primary lead is an actress and gets a job in her crush's in New York, where her crush lives. And they like strike up a friendship that's just a friendship. But the actress lead is sort of pretending to date her co-star for her career, or her like male co-star.
Yes, her beard.
Yeah, well, she's like been out, but she's not famous yet. So there's really like no, and this is something that my writing partner and I talked about a lot when we were making it, is there's really there's no very like out queer women who play straight romantic leads, and that's like for a number of reasons. But it really just doesn't happen very much. So if you are someone where your type is like, they want you to be the next Julia Roberts or Sandra Bullock, like that would be a risk. You would be limiting yourself quite a bit.
Yeah, very true.
So,
and even people who once they come out,
Yeah.
they're only really seen in a queer light.
Oh my gosh. Do you remember all of the straight roles that Ellen used to play?
Yes, yeah.
Wearing all of her Ellen vests with all of her Ellen hair. And you look back and you're like,
What were we doing?
okay, sure.
What was
You and,
that?
you and Liberace, baby.
There was a movie, maybe it was Mr. Wrong, and like the
Yes,
poster
that's exactly
is
what.
her
That's legitimately exactly what I'm thinking of with her shoulder
recoiling from
pads.
a man.
Yeah, recoiling from
Oh my
man.
gosh.
Just like, nope,
Yeah, I mean,
love it. That sounds amazing. Oh my
That's
gosh, I cannot wait
great.
to see this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to make it. I'm very excited, very hopeful, but things can go very quickly or very slowly, and it's quite an unpredictable. You guys know that's what this podcast's
Yes,
about. It's
of
an
course.
unpredictable beast.
Of course, and I think it'll be really fascinating too to hear your stories from like in development too, because we haven't talked to anybody on that yet, and that is such a weird little tangly world of like
It's definitely
this
tangly.
could be the thing, or maybe not. We literally never know.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, you know, some good stuff is happening, but like, who's to say? You know, like it's a lot of like meetings and getting it to people and having someone be like, "This is amazing. Can you attach Demi Lovato?" Like, no. Like, can you?
attach Demi
Yeah. Like, if you want to make it with Demi Lovato, I don't need to come back to you. Like when that happened, like that wouldn't be what you're for.
You got this.
Yeah, so it's been very interesting. But yeah, so what I've actually been doing in the pandemic is like watching British Bake Off. I rewatched all of Friends. I learned to do some wood turning because I was living with my parents.
What on earth? Okay,
That's
you get
awesome.
your Vermonter card, obviously. What the ever loving fuck is wood turning?
It's a thing. Do you know what a lathe is? LATHE. It's a kind of tool, and you basically pinch a block of wood between like two very tight points, and it spins really, really fast. It spins the block really fast, and you like kind of come at it with a chisel, and you like smooth it down. It's the way they
It's
would
a
make
log rotisserie.
kind of, yeah, but like very fast and like a little bit dangerous. It's how they make like chair legs and you know anything round like that. So
The shop that I work at has hand turned bottle stoppers
Yeah.
that absolutely look like butt plugs.
well, sure, there you go.
Smooth wooden butt plugs.
I learned with my dad, so I didn't make any of those, but
Not yet.
not yet. No, I made
But
some like
now
little.
you can.
Yeah, I made just like little containers. Like I made a couple salt pots and just like things like that. I made my friend a nightstand that didn't require the lathe, but
You're so of
That's
the
amazing.
land. I
that
love
was all
it.
I did. Like I just didn't. What has anybody done for 2 years?
For real.
Oh, not a whole lot. Not
I
a
got
whole lot.
so good at drinking.
I feel like
So
people
good
good,
my
went.
special
so
skills
good at
now.
podcasting. That's like, oh my god. I didn't even watch that much TV. I just watched, without shaming myself, the same shows over and over. I just
Yes.
upped my ticker on those.
We watched a lot of familiar things too.
Yeah.
We definitely did. It was that comfort. It was brain comfort.
No, I think that's.
Someone patting your little brain on the head.
Yeah, I think that was a thing because like we had. I mean, obviously people like consumed new media, and I think like you fall into a couple different camps, but like you either started drinking or never drank again. Like you know, or like you watched everything you could possibly get your hands on, or you just watched stuff you already knew. I couldn't really take in like new drama. Like I had to wait so long to watch Mayor of Easttown because I was just like, I can't. I'm not gonna do that
Same.
to myself. Like,
Same. I have not watched anything that's like deep and intense, like what's the really vengey one?
Benji.
It's
Squid
about
Game?
the woman
No.
who is sexually assaulted in Hollywood. Pretty something. Pretty Little, not Pretty Little Liars. Uh-oh.
I don't know.
Young and Promising. Promising Young Woman.
Promising Young Woman.
Yeah. No, I haven't watched that yet, and I'm dying to, but I just am like, I gotta be in the headspace to sit down for it, and I'm only slowly getting that back.
Yeah, I feel the same way about like I May Destroy You, Mayor of Easttown. I haven't watched yet. I've watched culty stuff and horror stuff because that I can jive with that. But yeah, just
Did you
drama?
Celey, did you do any online stuff over the pandemic, like web shows or, Zoom productions?
Yeah, I sure did. And a lot of people that I know did like Zoom improv, which like bless them for trying. That feels like one of the hardest things to enjoy. I auditioned a bunch, but like that's a real mixed bag of like whether that takes any of your brain space. It really depends what the audition is, if you get to have any fun with it. But yeah,
I felt so much freedom with my auditions over the pandemic.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I was like, all right, I did this one walking up my stairs because you made it seem interesting. Like I just...
Oh my God.
Right. Yeah. You really like, I felt I took the initiative to like, I get to make a movie.
It's all you got going on.
Yeah, exactly. Like I did more bolder wardrobe choices without like putting a fucking doctor's what is that thing that they have on doctors' heads?
I don't think it's a real thing anymore. Like I think that's an old
It's
tool.
not. It's a very old time.
The little satellite dish that goes on their head.
The forehead satellite. I would stage things. I would use a couple of props here and there. I had so much fun with them. And last night I had a last minute commercial audition where, granted, I was told to read the instructions about 11 times, and I did read them like 3. And from 3 times, I did not get the I didn't get the instructions right. So I was supposed to be like TikTok level.
In fairness, sometimes the instructions are impossible, but go on.
They were not great. They definitely required 11 reads.
Yeah.
Because I did the whole thing and I organized, like, I went in wardrobe, I picked a bunch of things, they were supposed to be thrown to me in the frame, I caught them all, I did it from a couple angles, and then my partner handed me the dog, and like it ended on a cute thing, and I got to be really creative with it. And then I went to edit it, and I edit it, and as I'm trying to find in the email what I should name the file, it's like, that's the general idea of the audition. Here's your specific thing. And I was like,
Oh no.
Because they were like, you should label it your name, your agency, your role. See your role below here at the way bottom. And I was like, oh no.
That one hurts.
So sad.
That one
so
hurts.
now I just have random audition that I might send to the casting director anyway, who is a dear friend of mine, and just be like, LOL, I made this for you. Enjoy.
Oh my
I
God.
didn't follow the instructions. So here you go. You get the...
Ridiculous, but also fun. I know, right?
I mean, there was a lot to do. Like, to answer your question, Lillian, I'm sorry. But yeah, we did a lot of sketch comedy for a good chunk of the time. And I only stopped because I just moved to Los Angeles a couple months ago, and it just felt like too mean to like have my team have to like coordinate with me and like deal with that. And I had been doing it for some time, but like I figured out how to film a lot of things by myself, and you really act off nothing. And we did a lot of fun stuff, honestly, like for everyone like not having prepared to do this, like we put together quite a bit. Yeah. Some like fun little film noir sketches were some of my favorites. Jen, you might appreciate this, but my friend Riva Grimble, who is a very funny writer, she wrote a sketch called Do a Kiss, which is about like a film noir detective gets a case from her friend who's like, I can't tell if this woman's into me or like we should be doing kissing or we're just good friends. But it's just about how like you can never tell if like this is just how they are as friends or this girl likes you.
Absolutely. I love meme accounts that are completely like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the whole thing is in like transatlantic accents. It was fun. It was a good time.
I love that. That's great.
When Celey, when Jen mentioned to you that we were doing this, I read a couple of your little notes about stories and things and snafus. But what was the first thing where you were like, oh my God, I have to talk about this thing?
One was just like my first like on-screen like kiss, which was bad.
Oh, yes. Go on.
There's like Discovery ID reenactment shows, like or
yeah,
not even just Discovery ID. I think there's a lot. There's one. Fuck, what's it called? It might be called Mysteries at the Museum, but I could be. I know there's one called Mysteries at the Museum, but I think this is the one I was on when this happened.
Great.
I was in like a full like Victorian like gown thing. I was playing like, it was like sort of a quote unquote real life Romeo and Juliet. I guess there were these two younger nobles who were from families that didn't like each other, and they had like some sort of love affair, and it's one of those kind of stories. And I didn't actually get to see that much of it. I'm just in like the flashback parts playing that lady. And the guy, I just like didn't know the protocol, and clearly the guy who was playing like fake real life past Romeo didn't either. And so we're in these like stupid get-ups, and they put us like near this like stained glass window. We went like upstate to some like manor to film in, and they've got the camera, like they've got it on a dolly, they've got a thing, then they're gonna swivel around us, so like you kiss and the camera swirls, that kind of thing. But this guy was just like, it was like he didn't have lips, he only had a tongue. Like that was what.
Oh no.
And it was just not good. And I'm just like, this is gonna be, like, I need this to not look like it's happening. But also,
God,
I was just like, he wasn't like a bad guy or anything. He's just like a bad kisser. But like, and I'm sure for someone he's the perfect kisser, but that was not for me.
Sure.
Oh, yoinks.
But he was like trying so hard, and I also like had never, like, this was maybe my third job ever. To say nothing of like, I didn't know until like much later, because I don't get a lot of roles that are like romantic, and like that's not like my type. That's not really what I go out for. I have like a much more like sarcastic rookie cop vibe. Like I just
Absolutely.
But so like it was like years later that someone was like, oh yeah, stage kisses, like you never use your tongue pretty much. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's cool information to like know. This poor bastard didn't know that either. Neither of us knew, and it was just not good.
Instead, you just had a full dental cleaning. God.
And it didn't even occur. It wasn't even at the time that I was like, oh, this is like, you shouldn't. I was just like, oh, he's a bad kisser. Like, this is gonna look bad. Like, I never saw that video. I have no idea what that came out looking like. For all I know, they didn't use it. Like,
yes, let's definitely.
I don't want to even give people enough information to track it down, like in case. And the other thing that I immediately thought of when it was like,
I wonder if that guy though. I wonder if he was like nailed it.
Oh, I think maybe he did.
Absolutely.
He was one of those. He was like a man bun before everyone had man buns kind of guy, which is why he was hired to play that prince. Yeah, exactly.
Oh no.
And in the downtime, I don't remember that much of. We just talked a little bit, but he was, he was like a sweet guy in the downtime. I don't remember what his day job was. Or his name, frankly. Sure. We met for that one day.
But you remember that terrible mouth.
I remember that. Yeah. And honestly, if you're listening, I'm sorry. And I'm sure you're really just the best kisser ever for the person who wants to be kissed that way.
Said perfectly.
Yeah. Or I hope someone took some time to do some emotional labor and talk to you.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't have the time.
No. That was above your pay grade.
That was absolutely.
Yeah, and
you were not.
That's
you
some
were not
union job right there.
Yes, that's why we have
is to change kissing like that.
Intimacy coordinator
for sure.
That's like a $10,000 plus certification.
Girl,
y'all.
can you imagine all of the classes you have to take to talk to actors and be like, this mouth does not work?
Yeah. It's very possible that it looked fine because I just remember it being like, are we supposed to be kissing this way? Like for camera? But like, I don't know. I didn't.
Great.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Nope.
No is the answer. And then I learned much later that like you didn't need to do
that. Cool.
That's great. Oh God.
And it's fun to hear that though, but also know that you didn't come up through like all mired in all of the weird acting exercises that we were like, of course you have to yes and everything, right? Even if it's a tongue in your mouth.
Well, honestly,
Right.
it's funny that you say the yes anding because that is my other story. It's like an improv thing.
Yay. Yes.
And this is another where, again, I hope this person is off in the world doing well. Improv was not her medium.
Sure.
And she was very committed to the fact that it was. And we've all been in those classes, right? Like, I don't know if you guys ever did, like, I did the Pitt first, and then I did UCB later, and, you know, I think there was some advanced study. Like, I had done a bunch of improv. And we've all, I think, been in that class with that person where it's like, maybe you should go take level 1 again. Like, maybe you're not, you know, maybe someone should sit you down and be like, there's a lot of comedy. This one's not yours.
Sure.
And we hear that as like such a personal judgment, but it's not. Like, not everyone is good at everything. Not everyone can dance, you know? Like,
Yep.
and improv is really, honestly, difficult to do well. And I had already done like some level. I like knew what I was doing, and this was level 1 at UCB. And you get like a class show at the end of the thing. And this woman she was just one of those like scene grenades, you know, like she walks up and like someone's going to have to jump on it. And like very few other people in the class had that much experience. I think I was in, I don't know if I was in level 1 with Chrissy Shackelford, who just won an Emmy for Last Week Tonight with John Oliver.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, she's wonderful. And she was one of the original people who did my podcast with me. Before she got like too busy. But she was in my class, and there was a couple other people who like kind of had clearly done it elsewhere. She was coming from like the Austin comedy community, but there was like her, me, 1 or 2 other folks who knew what the hell was up. And then like a real handful of people who were like, had heard about UCB and were just like, I'm funny, I'm going to do it.
Right.
And this girl was like driving up from Baltimore. I think Baltimore.
Oh, wow. No.
Like every week to like take this class. And she would start scenes with like impossible stuff. She would start the scenes with things that were really gross. And it's like, this is level 1. Like, you can do gross things that are funny, but like you really got to have a deft hand. And this is probably not the place to experiment with that. And our teacher was really wonderful and really tried to like rein it in. But at some point also there's only so much you could do. And they're just like,
yep.
My job is to move you on to the next thing. Like she can't do that much about it. So this girl is like a known entity in class. And it's not like anyone was talking about it behind her back or anything. But it was just like, it became clear that like only a few people would start scenes with her. And I was one of the few ones who would. And so during our class show, it was like one of the very first things, like she steps out confidently and like, you know, because it's level 1, more people come to your class shows. You're inviting your friends,
right.
Like a lot more
People aren't worn out yet.
Exactly. No one's worn out. Like Dave from marketing did improv and his coworkers thought it would be fun to come see it, you know? So
Right.
So there were some people there. I think there were some parents there and she just stepped out and like really confidently on stage, and no one would go. So like there was those long pauses make me uncomfortable, and I feel sad for people. So like then I was like, okay, fine. So I go out on stage, and immediately she bends over and screams, "Mom, wipe my ass!" And that was like the first thing she said. And I don't remember what I did. I think I blacked out.
Oh my God.
We did a scene. We got a couple laughs. I got the hell out of there. I think, honestly, maybe Chrissy was the one who, thank God, edited it. But, like...
Wow.
But I remember, like, there were lots of other scenes with that girl that probably wasn't even the worst one. But I remember it so vividly because it was just like, God damn it. I came out here to do this with you. Like,
I threw you a bone and this is what you give me.
Becca, you're 53. You should learn how to wipe your ass yourself.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I honestly think I
that's
said something
solid.
like that. I was like, Mommy, like, we don't yell at Mommy like that because she'll cry. Like, just whatever it was.
Right. Oh, my God. Fuck.
Yeah, so
That's a beautiful and immediate choice.
It was really a very clear choice, but she didn't have the skill level to then pull the rest of it. You know what I mean? Like, she just wanted to yell funny stuff.
Right here. Of course. Yeah. I had a similar...
So sad.
I had a similar experience where I had taken level 1 with UCB way back in the day before I met my now husband, because I was like, the straight boys are clearly not in musical theater. So where are the straight boys? And then I found
Lillian,
I overcorrected.
You were right. You were correct.
I overcorrected and found
She
improv comedy
overcorrected.
where they're so straight. So in the first class that I took, I went really well. I thought it was really fun and awesome. And I think that like later on, I wound up taking level 1 again and maybe level 2. But when I got back into it, my level 1 class was teaming with male stand-ups.
Mm-hmm.
Who
That's
were
a very
trying
particular
to make that
type.
transition.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they only wanted to play with each other. And it was like me and a chubby black girl wound up doing a lot of scenes together because we were like, I see you and I'm happy to do a scene with you. Mm-hmm. But at my recital, my recital, when I was wearing a tutu, at my class show, that happened to me where I stepped forward. I wasn't a scene starter in general. I was happy to like come bring up the rear and join a scene. But I didn't start a whole bunch. And when I did, they weren't terrible. There's no reason why the entire back line should have been like, boop-a-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And eventually I had to turn around and grab someone. I had to pull someone up with me. And at that point, like I was like, I'm gonna fuck you up. Like, you're gonna hate doing this scene with me because you made me drag you here.
Daddy, wipe my ass.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, that's stressful too. I don't like that. I feel for people in that regard. And honestly, to all the male stand-ups who are listening, I understand why you want to do improv. To the many male stand-ups who probably listen to this podcast, I'm sure it's large
That's our
subset.
core demographic, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. But there's actual money in stand-up. Ain't nobody paying you for improv. Like there's no one. Like good to have a tool in your toolbox, you know? Very good to make your brain work that way. If you're approaching it with like the right mindset, it can really help you be a much better performer. But you're not getting paid for zip zap zop. Like
unless you wind up as like one of the 5 people who's on the Norwegian breakaway. Like,
and even then, like,
yeah.
Oh God.
Bless. Also, I can't imagine that it's a real panty peeler at the end of the day. Like if you're.
Although I am reminded of that really exquisite
disagree.
episode of Broad City, where Ilana finds this guy who goes down on her better than anyone she has ever been with, and she's so crazy about him, and he's handsome and everything, and then he makes her go to his show, and he is the worst improv performer. He what do you call it, Celey, when someone ruins
a scene grenade? You gotta jump on him.
He's a scene grenade for every single. He says crazy, gross shit that makes no sense. And the next time they're in bed together, she's trying to enjoy herself, but she keeps remembering these terrible things that he did on stage. And she's like, you need to get the fuck out.
That's amazing.
I mean, look, I can't like improv is it's a art form that is very easy to make fun of because like it can be so stupid, but if you are good at it, it can be very attractive. Like funny is like I have no leg to stand on. I'm dating someone now who's a very good improviser.
Oh, and the second that came out of my mouth, I was like, what are you even talking about? I just read Jen a huge passage about how I was in love with Andrew Secunda back in the 100 years ago. So like
funny is hot. I don't know what to tell you.
Funny is
very hot.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. Unfortunately, so many people think that they're funny.
Yes.
And have been
that's
somehow
what
reinforced.
I'm thinking of.
Misguided.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I can feel that inside my teeth. You know what I mean?
Yes. It's so cringy. Oh. Fake
what
funny
about,
privilege.
Oh, fuck. Celey, any weird auditions? I know that when you guys were talking about like when you get the breakdowns and like all this stuff, like we were talking to somebody who had a very what I call a greedy casting person who was like, give me all of this and now do it like backwards and in German, like anything.
Yeah. I mean,
over the top.
Honestly, this past year with like how much we've been filming ourselves at home, it's been a relief and then also too much. Like, because we've just been. It's like, you can do this, this, and this, and also look like you're hiking. It's like, what?
Yeah. Do you want my short film? Because I'm willing to do it for that.
Yeah, and it's like, this whole thing pays $1,000. Like, it just, yeah. Mm-hmm. So there have been a lot of that, but I feel like the weirder ones, they're always for like dumb things, you know, like I went to really, really early on when I was still like kind of get the lay of the land. I went to this audition for like a zombie, but then it turned out to be for a haunted house. And they just wanted me to like scream as loud as I could. And I was like, this isn't fun. This is like really scary.
For like Nightmare or something.
Yeah, one of those like New York haunted houses that are like really scary and like they actually they hire genuine actors to be creepy. And I was very happy to not get that job.
See, if I may,
like
by the way, thespians, we want to hear from you
for a zombie. What's that?
Thespians, we want to hear from you if you've worked for Nightmare. By the way,
I would love to know. Yeah.
100%.
Lillian, I should make it more clear. I went for the zombie thing and I did a good job and they were like, can you do other stuff? So there were like prop things. I think there was like a prop axe. And they were
show us your range.
Yeah, exactly. It was that kind of thing. And so like there's always those auditions where you like come in and you weren't prepared to like do a full other audition and you just and they ask actors like, oh great, can you like do it but like on heels and a leather couch and not puncture the couch? Like no, I simply can't. Like
what about levitating? Have you done any levitating?
Yeah, exactly. Like I get a lot of these, like I got one of these over the pandemic too, where it's like and this is, I don't want to complain about this necessarily because this is good and this is good for like all of the industry trending in this way of like real bodies and real people who look like real people, and every commercial, even the Victoria's Secret ones, are like there is a little bit more variety than there ever has been. That's great. And I'm happy to be nominated. But I would love to be in like a commercial where it's not like inspiring that I'm wearing less than a t-shirt and jeans. You know what I mean?
Like we can blame Dove for all of that.
Yeah, they're so brave. I was like, it was for an underwear brand, and it was like, which is already like, I mean, those are great, but like it's not truly like my thing that I'm like excited about doing. But I'm gonna send in the tape because I need the money, and like it's a good relationship with that casting director, and like you guys get it.
Sure, yeah, of course.
And then if I, for whatever reason, book it, I'll deal with that then. Like,
exactly.
I'll buck up. But it's like, you know, try to be like all the instructions for the audition are like, try to be comfortable, try to be confident. Good for you. And I'm like, good for me. Like, I'm already like, yeah, I'm already like not like one of those people who just like loves being in like a bathing suit or underwear. And there are people of all sizes who like are into that, and that's awesome. And I'm not. I'm like a very shy person.
Right. It's just not your personality.
Yeah, it's not my personality at all. And like there are many people where I'm like, go get him, Tiger. I'm not gonna go get him, Tiger. Like I'm just
you're gonna whittle something in flannel. That's silly.
Put more layers on me. And the fact that the dialogue of this audition is like, aren't you brave? Send us a tape. Like it's like a real bummer. So
oh Lord.
Yeah, I was like, I just want to be like, I don't like, society won't change as fast as like I could. It's like I just want to be of the type where it's like not inspiring if I'm wearing a bathing suit. Like I just
Nicole Byers, well, she wrote the book, and the book has been published, and I think it's like So Fat, So Brave. But for a long time, it was just her hashtags. Hashtag so fat, hashtag so brave. And when she'd just be like, I don't know, outside occupying her body.
Yeah, just being a person.
Right.
And like there,
of course.
Yeah, I like don't even, there are like 5 pictures of me on my entire Instagram. You know what I mean? Like I just,
yeah, right.
I'm already like a shy person. And Jen, you're one of the more like, you know how to style yourself. You're like in like beautiful outfits, and I'm like, oh no, these are just like this is my regular pants. Like I just can't, I don't have anything.
These are my bread making pants.
Yeah, these pants are for bread. They're not for like observing. So I'm sure that you guys have had breakdowns like that where it's like, wouldn't you love to be in a lingerie commercial?
Crazy.
Probably even like, yeah. So I don't think those are weird auditions necessarily. I think they're par for the course for anyone who's above a size 4. But like,
right, exactly.
I had I don't remember exactly how far I got in this, but I auditioned for a short film, and I wound up talking to the director. It basically what it was no lines. Fat girl eats a table full of food and then kills herself in the bathtub.
What? What? You don't
So
have any lines?
immediately,
So why you do this?
Well, the whole movie was vignettes like that with people like harming themselves or making choices that were like sad and depressing. And I don't know like who the writers were. Like obviously I never went any further with it. After I talked to them some more, I was like, because then they were like nudity. And I was like, listen, if I am gonna be naked on film for the first time, this was many, many years ago, I don't want it to be like this.
Yeah, you're like, this isn't cool.
Ew, no thank you. And again, what fucking story are you trying to tell? What are you doing? Stop.
Not an interesting one. Not one that's like never been told.
When you were in town, or maybe even in LA, what is it could be a disaster, or it could be something that was actually quite brilliant, but what is one of the weirdest things that you've ever been dragged to?
Oh, like a actual
Some kind of something, whether it was like a film festival or a play or something like Sleep No More or someone's improv. Like we got a story the other day where a friend was going to support her friend's short and they put the shorts block after a feature film because they wanted to hold people hostage. So she ended up having to watch this terrible feature film. So
I mean, I've definitely been stuck. Like I've definitely been stuck at like a random film festival block or like someone's thing, or certainly dragged to a number of improv and sketch shows that were like subpar, but some are great, and you never know. Like I've definitely been to ones where I was like, this was worth it, and then ones where it's like, I could go home. I went to it's tougher. I feel like it's worse when it's bad stand-up. I was actually I wasn't dragged to this. I thought this would be fun, and I was wildly mistaken. I was at a stand-up show a little while ago where this woman like stole my donut off my table. Like I had leftovers from the like food market downstairs, and she just fucking took it and ate it. Now it was still COVID times. This was like up on a roof, and like then like months later posted a picture of her like covered in the like, and it was like a special thing. Like I had gone to like a guy who's known for, it was.
Oh my god, medicinal shit.
Yeah.
Oh, of course it was.
And then she posted on her Instagram, like, stole this off a woman's table a while ago, like, didn't apologize, didn't reimburse. And it was like, cool, you stole my fucking $6 pastry, you asshole. Like, it took all my strength not to comment and be like, yeah, you were a real piece of shit about that. That was really dickish of you.
Oh my God.
Wait. How did you find her? How did you find this picture? Because you already knew her?
No, I didn't know her. She like has an Instagram, and the person I was with, who was also excited about the donuts that she stole, found it on Instagram and sent it to me.
Oh my God,
like, trigger
that's
warning.
amazing.
Oh my God, that is very, very
sucks.
funny.
Like,
Wow, what a dick.
I was so mad because it was just like, it wasn't like she made a joke about her. I've talked about this before on my podcast. I will never be not upset about this. But she just like, like ate it like really disgustingly and like got jelly everywhere, and like wasn't a joke. It was just like a thing she did. Like,
cool.
Like if you're gonna do that, you got to be really funny, and then come up like be a huge bitch about it on stage, and that's your persona. And I won't like it, but whatever. But at least come up to me after and be like, hey, like thanks for being a good sport. Like nope, nothing.
Yes,
nothing.
for sure.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, you're a bitch.
Anytime I've ever seen because I've seen burlesque people like walk up and take somebody's drink, and I have never seen it done where they didn't even either talk to the person beforehand or then buy them a whole drink afterwards.
Of course, that's what you do.
Yeah. Oh. Wow. But she's edgy, this one. So edgy.
Yeah, well, and it's also, if you were to ever, I'm not going to name names right now, but like, if you were to ever see her Instagram, her whole thing is like, I'm edgy and gross, and who's to say? And it's like, all right, that's cool for you, I guess.
I know some of those people.
Yeah, you know exactly who I'm talking about. Like,
Speaking of your podcast, Still Got It is one of my personal faves.
Yay!
It's been going for how long now? How many years?
Honestly, maybe too many. I'm just like...
No, definitely not too many. You have so many movies that you have not done.
There's so many movies we haven't done. It's been going... We sort of started it in like maybe late 2015. Trump wasn't president yet, so...
Right.
It was a different time.
Halcyon years.
And it was myself, my roommate Nora, who still does it with me, and Chrissy Shackelford, and we sort of dabbled, and we were doing it every other week, and then it took I want to say a year before we like got organized and got the format down, and like really kind of, I mean, it was always like three people talking about a movie they loved as kids, but like it's kind of found its groove after that.
Right.
We've done almost 260 episodes now.
Shit.
And yet there are still movies to do. Like the conceit is to watch movies you loved when you were like a kid, teen, tween, and see how they hold up now. So ideally it's something you remember loving and haven't seen in a minute. And obviously that changes, but like those are usually that's usually the marching orders at first.
So good.
Jen's been on a number of episodes. We did Garden State together. We also talked about Shallow Hal.
Garden State, Shallow Hal, The Witches.
Oh yeah.
And Heavyweights.
Yes. You've run the real gamut with us. We have a lot of people who come back because I feel like inevitably when we talk about a movie, we talk about the other movies they loved, and then we're like, well, you have to come back and do that. So like it tends to be pretty fun. It's usually fun. Lately, with everything being remote for the year, it was fine. But now I've had like a run in the past couple of weeks of like this episode got messed up, or like this person lost their audio, or like this person meant to press because for the last month it's been annoying me. But like, but it has been like a good thing, and it's been like a really fun way to like meet people. Like Jen, we got to know each other better because you came and did some episodes.
Totally.
So it's always
one of
been
my favorite
fun.
things.
Yeah, Lillian,
great.
if you would like to come and like do whatever you loved as a kid, we've obviously done 250, but if there are more,
Sure, I would love to. I watched Last Unicorn with a friend who had never seen it.
Must be Last Unicorn.
And I mean, there are so many things where I say this all the time. I don't even know if it's good. That's how much I like it. You know what I mean? Like I have so many things that are so personal. And watching it, I wanted her to like it so much, my friend Randy, and I was just like,
they can feel that you want that.
And and she was just like, munch, munch, munch on my pizza.
Yeah.
And we had a very good conversation about it afterwards. But I was, just when we watched Goonies with Jen and Andrew. And Andrew had never seen Goonies. He was like trying to poke holes in everything. I was like, you got to stop, bro.
Yeah,
like this is not what this is about.
Oh,
well, so then we will. I do say we do poke holes in things, but it's part of like now that you're a grown up, can you see?
Oh, yes.
Can you see what you've done? So we've had.
I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying
yeah.
the purpose of doing this is not to figure out
how it doesn't
all
work.
of. You have to let go and let God with some things.
Yeah. We've definitely the woman we did It Takes Two like a couple years back, and that movie is like ridiculous, but the person we did it with was not prepared for us to make fun of it, and so she was emotionally she was like, oh no, I love this with a fiery and undying passion. We're like, okay, but we're gonna make fun of it.
Oh yeah,
because there's a lot to question, and also we all loved it as kids. Like,
amazing.
Good. Still Got It. You can find anywhere you listen to podcasts. There's 260 episodes for you to binge. Guys, it's so wonderful. Celey and Nora and Chrissy and all of their guests are just a delight, and virtually anything you ever enjoyed as a kid, teen, tween, and everything in between, you can find. And if you haven't yet, maybe make a suggestion, because I want Celey to keep podcasting until she is old and decrepit. And
you know what? I might have to, if I get busy, maybe I'll space it out. It'll be like every other week, like a fun treat podcast. Who's to say what we do?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Also, there are some films that have been revisited a few times. So if you do like Beetlejuice installments 1 through 7, I'm still here for that.
Okay. Yeah, we did Casper a few times. Like, it's been so long.
So good. Amazing.
Well, thank you so much for coming on today, Celey.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's been Celey Schumer, Thespians. I'll make sure that you've got her socials and Still Got It in the show notes so you can go take a listen and check her out. And until next time,
Wipe my ass, Mom.
Oh, God.
wipe my ass, Mom.
I'm
Yes,
so
and.
sorry. I'm so sorry for that.
Yes, and let's all work on our object work for next time.